Welcome back to PinTech. On this video I'd like to discuss a mod that I just installed in this black hole, and this mod was designed by John Robertson of Flippers.com, which is a great pinball site, an arcade site that you should check out. What this mod entails is de-energizing the spinning disc in black hole in order to save the motor. And what I mean by that is the motor for the black hole spinning disc, which is right here, they fail often over the years. They burn out, or the brushes go bad, etc., and the motor needs to be replaced. As a matter of fact, this particular motor is an aftermarket motor. The original had been burnt out. So in order to achieve saving this motor from excessive wear, John Robertson came up with the idea that the motor would only be energized when the ball is in the lower playfield of the game. So that way it saves wear and tear on the motor. That's one reason I installed it in the machine. And the second, which is to me the main reason, is that when the disc spins when the ball is in the lower playfield, that adds a lot more emphasis to the spinning disc, and it makes worth getting into lower playfield an extra goal. And it's a really cool feature, that spinning disc, but it's much more cooler, so to speak, when it has something to do with the gameplay and not just in a track mode or something for attracting constantly spinning. So anyway, what this mod entails is something very simple. The schematic and the concept is very simple, but the labeling of the connectors is what was very difficult, at least for me, because Gottlieb doesn't label their connectors well at all. Most companies, Williams Bally, etc., they label the pin locations on the board itself, like pin 1, pin 11, etc. But on Gottlieb they don't have that. And what makes, to add insult to injury, on some of the Gottlieb connectors, such as this A3J3, which is the main connector you need for this mod, is it has 2 rows of pins and 2 rows of wires, 1 row in the front and 1 row on the back of the board. So it really is 2 sets of pins, 2 rows of pins going through this connector and 2 rows of wires. So to try to find out the particular wires you need is very difficult. So I did get help with that through Pinside members Mike Dimas and Jaja. And I'd like to thank them very much for helping me ID the pin locations on the connector, because that was, to me, realistically the most difficult part of this installation. So what it entails is basically a tip 125 transistor and 2 diodes, and then 3 wires that run from this transistor that are spliced into the wire harness of the machine. And so what you want to do is take the base wire from the transistor and connect it to A3J3 connector, pin 13, which is on the front of the connector. The numbered pins are on the front of this connector, and 13 is right here, so you just count off from the left up to 13 and you'll get pin 13, which is on the front of the connector right here, and you splice the base wire into that pin wire connector right here. You want to take the collector from the transistor and connect it to pin A on connector A3J3, and pin A is on the back side of this connector. The back side of the pins and wires on the connector are labeled with letters. The front side is labeled with numbers. So pin A is counting from the right of this connector, 1, 2, 3, right here, the 3rd pin on the back side of this connector, and that's pin A. So you want to splice your wire into the wire that's connected into pin A. And then the 3rd and final wire is your emitter, and that wire runs directly to the motor's ground. And basically that's it for this installation of the mod. One point of note is You can install your transistor and diodes in this connection any way you want. This is basically what you need to do the mod. What I did is I made this little board and mounted it onto the back box insert and installed a connector for the 2 wires for the collector and base, because these wires are spliced directly into the wire harness here at the A3J3 connector. So if you want to move the machine and you want to take it apart, you have to take the head off or fold it down, however you want to move the machine, you have to disconnect these connectors to do it properly. So if this is spliced in, these 2 wires are spliced in, you're going to have a lot of troubles here. You're going to have to either take the board off, cut the wires, or just install a connector, and you can disconnect this just as easily as you disconnect these connectors from this board. You disconnect these 2 wires from this board and you're good to go. You could leave the motor ground wire installed because the board and the motor stay together with the head. So, with all that talk being said, let me turn on the machine and start a game, and hopefully we'll get into the lower playfield and you can see the mod in action. Right now my camera's on a tripod, so we'll have to move the tripod to the front of the machine and close up the back box. So let me close the back box. Close up the back box, take the light down. Always hold your wire harness when you close the back box on these Gottliebs. You don't want to pinch any wires or bind anything. Okay, now the game is buttoned up. Let me put the camera in the position where you could hopefully see the lower playfield and the back box at the same time. Sorry for this amateur videography, but that's how it is when you don't have a camera person to help out. So here now you can see the back box and the lower playfield. Let me power up the machine. Okay, the machine's in track mode, and you'll see that the black hole disc in the back box is stationary. And let's start a game and get a ball into the lower playfield. If we can get that black hole to spin. You see, you have the ball in the lower playfield, and the disc was spinning. Let's try again. Notice the disc is spinning, the ball comes out of the lower playfield and stops again. Try one last time. Oh. Like I said, I think it's such a dramatic mod for the machine, because say you have spectators in a bar on location, or just have family and friends, and you see that the back box is stationary. It looks beautiful as it is, actually. But when it starts moving, it's like an extra surprise instead of it constantly going the second you see the machine. So that takes away from the effect, actually. And this is much nicer. So let's try one last time. Okay, now I have the ball trapped, and you can see the effect. See the lower playfield is lit. I have the ball trapped on the clipper. And as long as the ball is down there, we'll be entering the black hole. So that's why it's such a dramatic thing. I mean, it makes sense to me. You have a ball going into the lower playfield, which is the black hole, and then the astronauts and everything else start spinning into the black hole. Very simple mod, and it's probably one of the best there is for a black hole machine, aside of LEDs, of course, changing them out for really good colors. Let me finish this ball, and we'll see the spinning disc will stop and the ball leaves the lower playfield. That's the black hole spinning disc mod. Once again, I'd like to thank John Robertson for creating this wonderful mod. And once again, thank Mike Dimas and Jaja from Pinside for all their help with identifying the connector and some other various help that they've contributed to getting this mod installed correctly. So, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe, and thanks for watching another PinTech video.